What is the future of my YouTube channel going forward? I know a lot of you guys are probably sweating bullets and you're like, oh my God, he's ending the channel. No, I'm not ending the channel. I just got fired up, and anytime I get fired up about a topic, it makes for a good discussion video. So I decided to do it. And I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit of not like a full direction change. If you've been communicating with me in like Discord, or you've been keeping up with the channel's patterns enough, you can kind of pick up on it. But when I had first changed my YouTube channel to the Horror Tavern, where I was reviewing not just kids horror anymore and stuff I was used to, but getting out of my comfort zone and reading adult horror and young adult and all that stuff. And then I became the Horror Lander with the epithet I gave the Horror Hero. I kind of lost what that kind of meant for a while, and I really only got it back the moment that I started discovering some of my favorite authors at the moment. Guys such as, like, as many of you may know, Tim Curran, Nathan Ballingrud, Joe R. Lansdale, Joe Hill. In terms of female authors, even, women like Sarah Pinborough, Nancy Collins I've been enjoying. I made myself into the horror lander and the horror hero because I've noticed that the state of the horror genre as a whole, horror media, books, movies, TV shows, has been in a rough place, but there are some people who are moving the envelope and moving the direction to where it should be. Guys like Ryan Coogler, you have shows like Love, Death, and Robots, plenty of authors and stuff that are coming out with a lot of good stuff right now. But in general, a lot of the casual horror fans and the main mass of horror fans are still feeding into that cage. And I feel like in order for us to break out of this cage, there needs to be people who just really don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about what people think about them. They don't give a fuck how annoying it may sound. They don't give a fuck, whether it fits what you prefer, what you are used to or not. People just need to get out there and start pushing the envelope in terms of putting horror media, books, movies, TV shows, stuff in the limelight, which is, in my opinion, the real standard of what a good horror story is. I called myself the horror hero because I want to be that guy who is promoting the horror stories, the books, all the media that I think really needs to get that attention. Because a lot of the time when you see casual horror fans, I'm going to be blunt, they like good stories. Like when you go on Goodreads and you see a lot of the most popular fucking books, it's a lot of character study and filler and relatability and being quirky and all this extra bullshit which doesn't enhance the horror part of a story. I am a horror fan. I don't give a fuck about a good story. If a story is good, I'll call a spade. I'm going to say obviously it's a good or great story. But I'm looking for those fantastic horror stories. So when you focus on stuff like character, filler, relatability, all this extra bullshit and padding and stuff, I don't give a fuck about none of that. And those people out there who either look at that or look at artsy fartsy, way overcomplicated, way lost in the sauce type of horror and think that that needs to exist, or dumbass slasher movies, fucking remake city, like what's been happening in 2025 with all these movie remakes that really don't fucking deserve or need movie remakes, and those fucking Disney parody horror movies and all that bullshit. That crap needs to fucking go away. It needs to fucking go away. It needs to stop. It is not entertaining. It is fucking stupid. And there's a lot of casual horror fans or mass horror fans who think the genre is shallow. This genre is far from shallow. As a guy who's read a lot of fantastic stuff, it is very far from shallow. There is unbelievable variety in the horror genre. There are fantastic villains, monsters, scary, horrifying scenes, fantastic atmosphere, settings, and immersion you wouldn't believe, and creativity. And I know people go like, oh, creativity, but it's not original. Who the fuck cares about original? Who the fuck gives a shit about original? You know how many original stories are out there in the grand scheme of media? Very fucking few. You have to go way, way back to the old stuff and enjoy or read that. And that's what's going to be original ideas. So that whole concept of original, a lot of stuff is not fucking original. Creativity to me is picturing this well elaborated story and then giving us that immersion, bringing us into it, painting the scene for us. You know, that's what's creativity. You know, it's a story that you envision, you piece together. Yes, you took things from other places, but you made it your own. And now you're going to paint that picture in front of us in a good way. That to me is now being creative. That whole original thing is fucking far in between. So my goal of this channel is going to be me fighting all those normie, typical shit of horror. I am going to actively be searching in adult horror, and kids horror, and young adult horror. Authors and stories that I think need to be much, much more popular, much, much more in the limelight, and stuff that genuinely, I mean stuff that genuinely is impressive to me. And that's why I've said that the greatest thing that ever happened to me in this year was me discovering Tim Curran. I know people get so probably bored of me talking about, not bored because you guys like the stories I've heard, but maybe you get like a little bit, like he's talking about Tim Curran again, but I don't give a fuck. The fact that Stephen King and other authors who are so fucking washed up and boring and ass as horror authors. Stephen King may be a good author in general, but compared to what he used to be in his prime when he was on the drugs, good for you that you got sober, buddy. I'm glad it made your life better. That prime shit was back in the day, like Night Shift and Salem's Lot and Misery and all that stuff. His news stories are fucking boring, fucking socio-political yap, longer than they fucking need to be, focusing on everything else aside from the horror, and the horror itself is lame as fuck. And people be in fucking Stephen King's pants going, Tiana Trump. You guys literally have that dude literally come in the back of your throat and you swallow his shit back. All of you fucking women and men out there who are sucking his dick right now, you guys are literally throating his shit like nobody's business, bro. I mean, y'all should be on fucking Pornhub right now throwing out. Y'all should go on OnlyFans with some of these new Stephen King fucking reviews, bro. Y'all are embarrassing because y'all really be acting like that shit is good horror. I don't care if you think it's a good story. That's all fine and good. The moment you start going, I'm a horror fan, and this new Stephen King story where he talks about fucking COVID, half the Merc, and Trump and all that shit is a good horror story. Shut the fuck up and fucking jack me off, bro. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'm looking for good horror. You know why I love Tim Curran? Tim Curran completely threw aside in his fiction all that useless socio-political filler, character study, all this extra bullshit that normie horror fans that use all the time to defend diet horror. Like, it makes horror popular, and as long as horror is popular, that's all that matters. Bitch, horror has been popular since fucking folktales, since the beginning of time. People have always had that emotional need to get scared without being in actual danger. It's a self-sustaining genre, just like comedy is, because everybody always wants guttural laugh. Everybody always wants that thrill, which is why amusement parks and those kind of things are always popular. But horror is always going to be popular. The idea of getting scared without being in real danger, it's a thrill to people. So Tim Curran has literally cast aside all that bullshit. And in all of his fiction, you get the most fantastic villains, horrifying, gruesome, amazing action-packed horror stories. Great descriptive prose when it comes to the horror. Great immersion capabilities. All these things which are fantastic. You have guys like Joe R. Lansdale, who is so creative when it comes to horror, and he really tries to make shit that'll disturb you and unnerve you, you know, get weird with it, make you feel uncomfortable, but at the same time add cool visuals. He can go pulpy with it, you know, he can go all types of different stuff with it, throw in commentary. He's very versatile. You have Nathan Ballingrud, who is similar to Clive Barker. He makes some of the most disturbing and gory and raw horror out there, but he has fantastic world building capabilities and skills beyond what you normally would expect. And Joe Hill is like still a prime Stephen King. He's continuing on the legacy of his father, who's washed up. Joe Hill is carrying on that torch and still dropping stories that are comparable to when Stephen King was in his prime, which is why I like him. So outside of Joe Hill, I think that guys like Joe R. Lansdale, Nathan Ballinger, Tim Curran, Nancy Collins, Sarah Pinborough, all these different authors and creators and people, they need a lot more love and attention. They need to be as popular as they can be. And I am going to, with this channel, play a part. I'm going to keep promoting their shit until the day I die. I don't care if people are, getting bored with it or whatever, because I think that the horror genre doesn't need all that extra bullshit, all that slasher, remake, typical book club, diet horror shit, filling up, parody shit. That is not the stuff that needs to be popular. The people who are telling you that should be popular are oftentimes corporate people, fucking shills, or casual horror fans who are only diet horror fans. They say, oh, we're horror fans, but they like all that diet horror. The moment that I show them something like Tim Curran stuff, they usually go, oh, that's too much. Oh no, that's too much. I'm not ready for that. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. If you say that that's too much in horror, you need to shut the fuck up and keep your lips fucking zipped. That's what the horror genre needs. The horror genre needs that stuff. It doesn't need you going, oh, hold it back, oh, restrict it. Fuck you. Shut the fuck up and get out. Ooh, go fucking keep your mouth shut and just watch your casual shit and be with it. I don't need you going on fucking reviews and fucking blogs and videos and shit and all types of media coverage and being like, this is revolutionary. This is so good. No, the fuck it's not. No, the fuck it's not. You're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling yourself. Because a lot of times the people who say that often get very defensive and very argumentative and just keep yapping, and they don't have anything to back it up. You know why I don't give a fuck about continuously promoting Tim Curran? I've read every single one of his 125 short stories. I'm going to keep reading his stuff. I've read all of his novellas, and I've read through a couple of his novels. This guy, since all the way back in 1998 when he first started publishing stories until now in 2025, has been consistently great, consistently good, and even though I'm his biggest fan, every time I go up to other reviewers who have completely different opinions to me on average, even they like his stuff. People who are kind of similar to me, but not as big creature feature people, they still love his stuff. I have had casual fans, like my two best friends, who are horror normies, and I've introduced them to Tim Curran stories, told them about it, read some to them, and they'll go like, they're like, he needs graphic novels, he needs comic books, he needs movies. And that's what sparked this idea in my mind. I'm like, I want that to be my channel. Whether it be some fantastic story that nobody talks about in Goosebumps that I think needs more recognition and talked about just within the Goosebumps fandom. Whether it be a kid's horror book that does not get talked about as much as the Goosebumps franchise. It's a spin-off or knockoff, but it's so good that it needs to be talked about. I'm going to focus on praising that shit. If it's something in the YA community that needs a lot more talk and to be a standard, I'm going to talk about it. And when it comes to adult horror, best believe that I am not apologetic or caring about literally talking about the same authors over and over again. If I think that they are delivering that good stuff, if I think that they are the ones that need to be in the forefront, I am going to keep talking about them until the pigs start to fly. And that's my biggest goal with this channel. I'm hoping that this channel gets as many views, as many support as it can, God willing, with God's help, because I think that that's what the horror genre needs. And that's why I'm taking on the epithet horror hero. I don't care anymore about having to read all the things in horror. I used to go on Goodreads book list and be like, oh, this is what's popular, so I should read it and check it out, even if I think I won't like it. Or seeing what other booktubers and people are talking about and thinking, oh, if I talk more about that, I'd get more views and stuff. Who the fuck cares about those guys? I'm looking for those stories, books, in the movie community, movies, in the TV show community, TV show episodes, in the, kids horror community, kids horror books. I'm looking for shit in all aspects of horror that I think need to be the standard and need to be way, way, way more popular than a lot of the washed up mid that's out there. So, that rant aside, A lot of you guys probably have already noticed that kind of stuff, me doing on my channel, but this is sort of my official oorah. That's what I'm going to be doing in the future. A lot of my videos, while I will be experiencing some franchises all the way through, I will be doing that, of course. This is video is not me saying that I'm not going to experience a lot of different horror movies and stuff. No, I am going to be doing that because I'm searching for the best. I'm looking for that stuff which needs more attention, needs more love. But I'm not going to be going into stuff which you'll see a lot of other people cover that is popular, but I'm not going to talk about it because I know that shit is not good. It's diet, it's mid, and I want to get the best stuff into the limelight. So, I'm sorry for all of you out there who may be a little bit annoyed by me always talking about Tim Curran and the same guys in every other video, bringing them up or using them as comparison. But it's because I think that those guys need to be a lot more popular and a lot more recognized. So I'm doing that just to get them however much recognition more I can add to it. Whether I'm not doing it so they recognize me, I'm not doing it so Tim Curran watches my videos and sends me stuff. I'm doing it because I love his content and I think that he is the guy who should be the most popular guy in the horror book genre right now, and not even a question. And the fact that him and all those other people I named and more people that I'll discover and name in the future have not gotten the attention and the love that they deserve is criminal. And I think that I can do my part in helping out them with this YouTube channel and how I take it, even if it's a little bit or even if it's a lot of bit that I can help them. So that's all I got for today. That is me. That is why I am the Horrorlander. That's why I am the horror hero. And I hope you guys are okay with that being the official direction of this channel. And I'm sure a lot of you out there who I'm close friends with, who are big horror fans, completely agree with it and understand it and love that. And for those of you out there who may be new in the future watching this video for the very first time, any future fans or new people to my channel, hopefully that gives you an idea as to the kind of guy I am and what this channel is really aiming for. That's all I got for today. Get ready for the next 4 videos on my community post. I talked about I'm going to be reading 4 Goosebumps books back to back, all the remaining House of Shivers books, and making reviews on them. So you guys are going to be getting a lot of new Goosebumps content for all of you Goosebumps heads out there. But that's going to be pretty much the most Goosebumps content you'll get for a while. Then I'll take another break because I might get burnt out. But you'll officially get 6 new book reviews pretty much within a short span of time. So hope you guys like it. And of course, if you like these type of discussions, this type of videos, and you love what I've done with my channel so far, or even if you didn't like the way I was doing my channel and now you like kind of what I've been doing, free way to support me. Don't involve any money, don't involve even any effort. All you have to do is just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and maybe if you're feeling generous, comment down below. That's all I got for today. All of you have a blessed day, and I hope you guys are also experiencing great media out there. Deuces.